Hi, I'm Gavin, and this is my vlog for Teach English in China. I'm going to talk about why I chose to come back to China in the middle of the pandemic. I first came to China in August 2019, and I was here for about 5 months teaching English to primary school children in Nanjing. Then in January last year, I had to go back to the UK because of the virus. I was stuck in the UK for about 9 months before I finally managed to get a flight back to China in October. And then since October, I've been teaching the middle school children at the same school in Nanjing as before. And I'd originally planned to come to China, stay for about a year, and then in the summer afterwards do some travelling, but obviously those plans were ruined because of the virus. There are a few reasons why I chose to come back to China. The first reason is because I didn't want to get a job in the UK and then lose this great opportunity to travel. The second reason is because in the UK there just weren't many jobs last year. It seemed like lots of people were losing their jobs and lots of places were shutting down. Normality seemed like a long way away. And with Brexit coming up, I thought there'd be fewer jobs in the UK, fewer opportunities for me. But I knew if I got back to China, I'd have this sort of guaranteed job up until summer of 2021 at least, and then I'd have the opportunity to keep extending my contract for a year at a time. Also, my school were very accommodating with the whole situation. They made a contract with a loose start date because nobody knew if or when I would actually be able to get back to China. They've also given me a pay rise even though I only worked for half the contract last year, and they have also given me back pay for last year. So the months I didn't work, they're still going to pay me for them. So they've been very generous. They didn't have to do any of that. And so it just made sense to come back, keep working for them, get some money, have a job while I have this chance to do that. And the third reason, quite a sort of important reason, was for my health. It seemed like I would have much less chance really of catching the virus here in China than I would in the UK. I think that's quite obvious if you look at the numbers of cases and the number of deaths in the UK compared to China, and you just compare the overall response to the pandemic in both these countries. China seems like the much safer place to be, so that was a big reason for me to come back here. So I wanted to get back to China to live relatively virus-free, to have a guaranteed job and make some money, and then to hopefully resume travelling once things are a bit more normal. With regards to the virus in China, after my initial quarantine and the tests I had to do when I arrived, everything has felt fairly normal, almost like the virus didn't really exist here. You've got to wear your masks on public transport, and some places were doing temperature checks to enter, such as malls and supermarkets, but life was fairly normal up until recently. Now with the upcoming Spring Festival, the restrictions have got a little tighter, so you've obviously still got to wear your mask on public transport, but I've noticed a lot more people are wearing them just out and about in general. A lot more places are taking your temperature before entering, and they're doing it a lot more frequently. Yesterday I had my temperature checked by a robot going into a mall, which was pretty cool. And a few places are also now requiring you to show your green health code to enter. So the restrictions are getting tighter, but it's just to control any possible outbreak that could occur over the holiday. My school has also introduced some restrictions for the holiday, so I'm not allowed to leave Nanjing. I've got to stay in the city for the duration of the holiday. And it's not a strict requirement. They are letting some teachers leave, for example, to go home to their hometowns or their home cities. And to do this, they have to ask permission from the school. And I think there's some testing rules, so they might have to get the PCR throat swab to be able to go back, and then another test when they come back to Nanjing. So it's a bit of a hassle, and I thought it would just be better to avoid all the hassle, all the trouble of doing that for the holiday. I don't want to end up in quarantine again, and I'd hate to be that one teacher who brings COVID back to the school and forces the whole school into some kind of lockdown. So I thought it'd be best just to stay in Nanjing. The school is also requiring me to take my temperature every day, so I have just a little thermometer, record my temperature every day, and then I submit that to the school before the next semester. So it kind of sucks that I can't go travelling. I've got these 5 weeks holidays where I'm not allowed to leave the city, but I've still got plenty to see and do here, so it's not too bad. And as a trade-off between not being able to leave the city or having very lax rules that leads to a long lockdown or lots of people becoming ill, potentially dying, it seems, pretty obvious to just stick to the city, and hopefully that way everything can return to normal quicker. Coming from the UK, where the virus is largely out of control, to China, where it's pretty much under control here, was very bizarre. I left Scotland maybe a week or two before the new tiered lockdown system came into place. But even then, you could see the number of cases and deaths starting to rise again, and it was just crazy that nothing was being done about it. And then arriving in China and seeing how strict and careful they are about every possible train of transmission, it was a massive difference. And I think China's approach is definitely paying off. They went hard and fast in the beginning with their lockdown. They drove the cases right down, and then this has allowed them to test, trace, isolate anyone who could potentially be infected. And now they know exactly who's got the virus, where those people are, where they've been, so they can monitor the situation, get on top of it really quickly. There have been a couple of outbreaks in northern provinces, and these places have gone into strict lockdown very quickly, and then mass testing has been rolled out, and that has allowed these places to open up fairly quickly. Nothing like in the UK where you're in lockdown for months with no end in sight. It's a huge difference. It gives me a lot of confidence that an outbreak like that in the UK just won't happen here. As soon as there are any rise in cases anywhere, they're on top of it quickly and they stop it before it spreads throughout the whole country. Now with the holiday coming up and millions of people still likely to travel, it is possible that there could be some resurgence throughout the country, but I think China will be on top of any outbreaks really quickly, and we won't have the sort of widespread community transmission like that in the UK. I think China will handle it well like they have so far, and we won't be in and out of constant lockdown. So I think if you want to live relatively virus free and you can actually get out to China right now, it's just as good a time as ever to come here to teach English. Okay, so thanks, bye.